everybody. John and Lance from the bench. Mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Here to talk a little Rockets basketball. Mike D'Antoni says he's done with the Rockets. Lance, let's judge. How was Mike D'Antoni 4 years as the Rockets head coach?
A good solid B. I think Mike D'Antoni got the most out of James Harden. Mike D'Antoni's system got the most out of James. I thought the Rockets did a lot of really good things. The most wins in Rockets history in a single season, 65 wins. They were, it's always the Chris Paul hamstring season. I thought Mike D'Antoni did a really nice job. I'm not going to say that Mike D'Antoni's time maybe hasn't come and gone. I think he's kind of linked to James, and if there's a choice between the two of them, I mean, one guy is expendable and one guy's playing still at a very high level, even if you're not always happy with them in the postseason. But I think Mike D'Antoni, I think he did a nice job. His time with the Rockets will be remembered as a relatively successful one, but there is some what could have been in there too.
Yeah, I heard behind the scenes from people up there that he wasn't tough enough. I don't think he did enough in the Chris Paul James Harden feud, and I think he didn't try to diffuse it. He just stayed away from it, and I don't think that he was tough enough on James Harden. I don't think that he made him run without the ball. I think that he watched him throw up 27 threes, not him, but the team, and he didn't do anything about it. I think that he didn't coach him hard enough. I think the best players still need somebody that's going to lead them, even though, if you try to coach James, you disagree with James in this organization, you're not going to last long. But you know what? You're also not going to win because he had to be coached up harder. Look, Phil Jackson coached up Michael Jordan. Phil Jackson told Michael Jordan no and made him run an offense that he didn't want.
Kobe.
They told Michael Jordan you couldn't have players that he wanted to play with and all kinds of things. And that's why Michael Jordan was great, because he couldn't have his way all the time. James has had his way in this organization, and I think that Mike D'Antoni let him have his way.
But let me throw something else in there. You talk about Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson didn't tell Michael he couldn't have players. That was Jerry Krause.
Right.
Is it maybe Daryl Morey's job to step in instead of Mike D'Antoni's? I mean, a little bit of devil's advocate here, but what about the guy who's above Mike D'Antoni stepping in and bringing James in and doing some of the same things that you talked about?
Yeah, no. Listen, I think it's on Daryl as well. It's on Daryl as well. But on the day-to-day things and in the in-game situations,
right.
I think Mike D'Antoni was too easy on him. Now, that all said, I thought he was pretty good. I didn't think they'd win a championship. Mike D'Antoni hasn't won a championship. He's had maybe the best teams in the Suns when he had Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire, and with the Rockets, they were just a hamstring away, obviously. But I think he's had good enough teams to win, but he hasn't been able to win. That said, now who you like? Who would be your choice of the prospects right now?
Well, I mean, so the first thing you have to do is define what the team's going to look like, and I'm assuming it's going to look the same. It's going to have the same culture, the same philosophy of small ball. If that's going to be the case, I think probably Tyronn Lue or Sam Cassell, two guys who are both guards, and it seems like every head coach is a point guard who's ever played. But I would say maybe Tyronn Lue. I mean, Lue is a coach. I think he's a player's coach. He knows James. You're going to have a relationship with James. There's two kinds of coaches. There's the X's and O's coaches, and then there's the relationship coaches like Rudy T was, who understood how to massage egos and things like that. And maybe the better of the coaches is the guy that can converse with James Harden and gain his respect. I don't think Jeff Van Gundy is out of the question. Jeff Van Gundy did a great job of getting Tracy McGrady to play hard all the time, and they actually got along great. So I think James Harden is a very smart basketball player. He's got a high IQ. I don't think it's crazy to think that those two could match. I just don't know about the Daryl Morey's philosophy of small ball. I don't know that that's Van Gundy's way.
Yeah, I don't either. Or maybe it changes, and maybe they just say, you know what, we'll get big guys, but maybe get big guys that can shoot, that can stand on a 3-point line and shoot. But we need to get bigger players in here because the rebounding thing is ridiculous. I think that James needs some tough love. I think my choice would be Jeff Van Gundy. I think he needs to be told, and I don't know. Ty Lue seems like a player's coach. He has one, but he just seems like one of their buddies. I think Sam Cassell might fall into that same category. I think he needs a guy that's going to come in here, a guy he can respect, which I think Jeff Van Gundy has earned some respect in the league. And I think a guy that can come in here and tell James, no, you're moving without the ball. No, we're not just playing ISO. No, you're playing defense, and we're going to play it hard, or you're going to sit. I think there's so many things that James Harden can be a great, great player and win a championship, but he's got to have somebody to tell him how to do it. And no one can tell him anything right now.
I think Kevin McHale tried to do some of that, and that didn't work out great. You've been through enough of the James Harden era to know that it's good but not great. If you bring in the next coach, whoever it is, I think it would behoove the Rockets to tell them you've got authority. So whatever you say is going to go. And if that means that they have to make a tough decision with James, so be it. But you've got to get a coach who can do what we all know is best for the team. And a lot of the things you spelled out, might be best for the team. But I think that's Tillman and Daryl's decision to make. And that's going to be a big, in the discussion about, who knows what Tillman will tell Daryl. I think he'll keep Daryl. But I think Tillman may throw some edicts down at Daryl about things that he wants as well. So we'll see on that.